Now, before you crucify me in the comment section below saying the Packers don't need a rebuild, their postseason maybe does need a rebuild, please don't be rude. It's my favorite team, of course. And if you didn't know that, maybe it's because you're new to the channel, which if you are, maybe subscribe. Super quick sellout. That's it. It's over. Record-breaking time. And if you're someone that isn't new to the channel and you didn't know that, shame on you, honestly. I appreciate all your support, of course, but shame on you. Of course, the Green Bay Packers, a team that has succeeded in the regular season like almost no team ever. And then once the postseason comes along, I actually miss the days of saying, lol, Green Bay can't win in the championship round. I miss that. I want to be back in the championship round, losing 24-7. I don't care. I want to just get back, okay? Damn it. But unfortunately, the Packers lost to a San Francisco 49ers team that was not being taken seriously despite taking down a lot of really good teams and almost even beating the Super Bowl champion Rams. People want to troll Rodgers and all that, and they say, oh, it's home field advantage. The man was born in California. He doesn't like the cold any more than anyone else out there, okay? Throwing the ball in that game against San Fran was not a bonus because he's used to it, okay? Let's stop with that stupid narrative, okay? Rodgers won his Super Bowl playing the majority of his games in a dome, okay? I don't know what you're talking about. You're losing your mind, okay? Relax. But regardless of that weird take we just had, this is the team. Obviously no Davante Adams, which was a huge, huge L. Really wish he would have been back. I understand completely why he left. I think a lot of Packers fans do as well. It's just, it kind of sucks to see, right? Obviously, Rodgers talking about, there's no reason Jones or Dillon can't catch 50 passes a game. It's like, yeah, there is a reason. Because they're going to be really tired from running the ball all the time. Because we're going to probably run the ball 24-7. Alan Lazard talking about he wants to be the best wide receiver in the league. It's not going to happen. He's a decent run blocker. His hands are all right. But he is slow. My man's change of direction should be like 5. I don't know what it actually is. What is his change of direction? Does it show on this? 82 agility, 79 change of direction. His face, he's aged 10 years ever since Devonte left. He's just, look at that face. But of course, Dobbs, killing it in preseason. Christian Watson, recovered quick from a surgery. That's kind of cool, I suppose. Sammy Watkins, if he can stay healthy, may actually be a savior of this team. Randall Cobb and Amari Rodgers. Of course, Randall Cobb is just kind of like a veteran presence to teach people up and come in clutch. I mean, when he was healthy last year, he was actually kind of impressive. He made some big-time plays, some really tough catches. Of course, Amari Rodgers is kind of taking that next step in camp, but I still don't know if I believe in him, dude. There's so many receivers here. I'm just going to have the youngest guys starting pretty much. That's really it. O-line, of course, Josh Myers was looking actually pretty decent before he got injured. Elton Jenkins, he can play literally every position on the line, so as expected, we were talking about it before Madden 23 even came close to coming out, that he probably would make the move to right tackle. I mean, he's a Pro Bowler there. He's a great right tackle. He's a great guard. Play him anywhere you need. David Bakhtiari apparently is finally kind of back here. Well, David Bakhtiari, we'll see. Hopefully he stays healthy. If he doesn't, it's just the worst contract in NFL history then, to be honest. Because, the Green Bay Packers are locked in for another 2 years, and he's basically missed 2 years at this point. Of course, Tanyan back from a season-long injury as well. Had himself a decent breakout year, and the fact that he kind of stuck with us with this kind of, cheap prove-it kind of deal, I think he signed a tender, it kind of tells me that Tanyan really doesn't believe in himself that much, to be honest. It really does, because why would you stay here? Why not just get paid? Just go somewhere else, get paid. But I think he just believes he wouldn't get paid if he went somewhere else. Of course, Jair, one of the best corners in football. Maybe if he stays healthy this year, could become the number one. He honestly feels more consistent than Jalen Ramsey to me. Of course, when did Jamar Chase not cook people? But Jalen Ramsey was getting burned by every single player in the Super Bowl, and at times he seemed to get burned a lot. Still really good corner, but Jair has that potential to take that spot away from him, dethrone him, if you will. Stokes, the fact that he's a normal dev where you have guys like Mike Hughes at star is really disappointing because he had an insane rookie campaign when you consider that Jair wasn't there for the entire year, Of course, there's some talent around, but, you didn't have Jair for the whole year. You didn't have Za'Darius for the whole year, so it wasn't the craziest, greatest defense ever. Yet Stokes was kind of locking down other teams' number ones a lot. He was really good. Devonte Wyatt, tons of potential there, but he's 24. Kenny Clark, up and down a little bit, but he is definitely the best interior guy we have. Jaron Reed's great depth, but Dean Lowry is going to be the starter. Rashawn Gary, could have put him at superstar. He had a really good year last year, obviously. Same with Devondre Campbell, all-pro. First all-pro linebacker for Green Bay, or inside linebacker, if you will, since Ray Nitschke, which is impressive. Quay Walker, the big question mark, of course. Not really believing in Chris Barnes too much, as you could tell by the fact that they took Quay. The game has him rated pretty well, but overall, there are so many more needs Green Bay could have went for. They could have doubled down and maybe gotten Pickens instead. They could have, because it's like, oh, Green Bay, they would have had to reach to get Quay, or to get a wide receiver. The value wasn't there. It's like, they took Christian Watson high second. What are you talking about? They could have literally went Devonte Wyatt with the first pick. It wouldn't have been a reach. And then they could have went with Christian Watson the second pick. And you get that fifth-year option on top of it. I think Quay has potential, but I just don't think it was the biggest positional need. Where was this when Patrick Queen was on the board? Not that he's really played super well for Baltimore anyways, but, edge rush could have been a little bit more important. Safety, like Daxton Hill or Lewis Cine would have been great, because Savage and Amos could be gone soon. But enough talking about the team. Crosby's going to retire soon. I mean, it is potentially 2 years away from a rebuild, long story short. Or long story long, because that was a long time. But looking at Green Bay's draft, it was pretty decent. There was a lot of kind of sleeper names in there. And Agbari, he's obviously a sleeper pick. Kind of a steal, if you will. And I mean, we'll see how the draft class goes. But this could be one of those, I wouldn't say all-time greats, but solid draft classes that keeps the team youthful. And I think because there's zero chance Rodgers retires year one for us, we're going to just rock a regular draft class instead of going with one of the real-life draft classes coming up this year. Hey, Eric Stokes is star dev. What kind of XP? Oh, thank you, EA, for completely snubbing Stokes and giving random 73 overall corners like Okuda still star development trade after many years of not showing anything versus Eric Stokes having a really good rookie campaign with no help. Jeez, I barely got that one out. I almost died. And now we have Darnell Savage going to Superstar. We're getting some busted dev-ups. We have some contracts, which I don't know if we can even afford. Amos, I think, is an automatic no, based on kind of the talks from Amos, who's a really good player, obviously, but just, I mean, man, it's tough because it's a 4-year deal for a 29-year-old star development trait safety. The best I could do is like a 2-year 23. No longer term. Man, I want to keep Elton. He has no interest to resign, whereas, of course, we do have interest from another party there with Amos. Oh my god, we're in some trouble. Like, I don't want to pull Amos's deal, but he's 29 star. I think we're going to choose Savage. If we're going to choose between one or the other, Savage with Superstar, I think, is probably the better bet long term. Lazard, I can't do that. Man, where Rodgers is, I mean... Super Bowl again. Yeah, 50 mil per year. I'm sure that helps out a lot, pal. Take 32 even. And, I mean, we keep extra players. And there's a prospect strong safety. Sorry, Amos. I kind of took out my hate for Rodgers' contract on you there, pal. I think it's clear-cut with the age and with the position not being, like, that important, if you will. I think the decision has kind of made itself. Elton, the 5-year 100. I would like to play for a new team next year. A tackle is costly for the tag, but I'm going to probably give the tag if it's anything under 25. And I don't want to lose Lazard, but at the same time, I think a 4-year 20 is not bad. But, like, I just don't think we can do it. Or a 3-year 20. Oh, that's even worse. Crap. For the market these days, it's not terrible, but I just can't do it, dude. I just can't. I can't. We're just going to lose half the squad. What can I tell you? All right, luckily we play in a pretty bad division here as we are going to be a 12-5 team. We have to play against the Vikings, who we just beat in Week 17 for the wild card round. Tom Brady threw for over 6,000 yards. I didn't change anything about the scheme or anything like that. We actually had a really bad start to the season, 1-3, and then picked it up nicely. Packers versus last year do have a lot easier of a schedule, so... I mean, I'll be honest with you. Green Bay, I mean, there could be injuries, and there was even last year. People really underplay how bad they were, but they were bad. Lost a lot of players. due to injury, or they just weren't playing, or they were on snap counts for the Niners game. But barring any injuries, if Green Bay doesn't win a Super Bowl here this season, Rodgers will never win another Super Bowl. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's just never going to happen. But speaking of Rodgers, 4,700 yards, 32 touchdowns, 14 picks, 70% completion percentage, but definitely a down year. However, a lot of rushing touchdowns, like a ton. Aaron Jones had a really good year. Dylan's yards per carry sucked, but his touchdowns were pretty good. Dobbs, look at him go. 12.53 for 11 touchdowns. Lazard was pretty good. Tanyan was pretty good. Christian Watson. I would love to get that out of him. If I can even see 800, if I can see 1,500 yards combined from Romeo and Christian, I think the Green Bay Packers will be fine at receiver, but that is still kind of a lot to ask for. O-line was really good, actually. Sacks, Rashawn Gary needs to be paid. 21 sacks. Preston with 10.5. Kenny Clark, 4.5. Devonte Wyatt with 4. Interceptions, Adrian Amos with 4. 3 for Devondre and Stokes. Man, that really hurts. But Crosby, really bad season. He's gone after this anyways. Pat O'Donnell, the former Bear, not a bad season. Kick return, punt return game, pretty tame. Any awards outside of Rashawn Gary, I wonder. Romeo could have won one, to be fair. Maybe Offensive Rookie of the Year. He did. That's a dev up. That's nice. Rashawn Gary is Defensive Player of the Year, with Romeo Doubs being a Offensive Player of the Year. No for Defensive Rookie of the Year. QB at number 8. Of course, Aaron Jones at 4. Wide receiver at 10. Barely making the list. O-line, a little surprised, wasn't on the list. D-line, no. Linebacker, number 1. And with Preston at number 4. DB at number 2. And then kicker, definitely not on the list, right? I see PA, and I was like, no shot. But here it is. Rodgers says he doesn't want to play till anything past 40 at least. We'll see if he does, and if not, we'll see if we can win a Super Bowl within those last 2 years. Going to the end of the game, 3-0. Minnesota striking early and fast. A really long touchdown for Minnesota. 10-7, 10-10. I mean, this is kind of surprising to see, Minnesota even get this kind of love in sim. Usually the game just hates them. 16-12, a new scoring type of game. 19-16, 22-16, and wow, okay, kind of choking here. Who would have thought? Run out of time, and I have to see if we even attempted the field goal, because if not, we are going to have to do that again. And with 3 seconds left and timeouts to use, we ran for 8 yards with Rodgers at their 25. All right, the test. We would have had a field goal shot from the 40 to the 25, which would have been a 42-yarder. Instead, it's from the 26. I'll take that 1-yard loss. Crosby hits it, which means we will be forced winning the game. Washington. 12-5 Washington. I don't really want to spoil it just in case I upload this before Washington, but spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure I don't think it's the exact same situation, but pretty sure we went 12-5 first year with Washington and made the playoffs, and we lost to the Packers at some point. Could this just, happen again, please? If nobody minds. If nobody's really, if they don't care, I'm okay with it happening. Just please don't lose to Washington. Lose to the next team, just not Washington. Too many field goals for Green Bay. 13-0 so far, looking pretty good. 16-0. I mean, it's not dominating. Now it kind of is. Oh, now it really is. 30-0, 37-0, 44-0. We're going to shut them out. I mean, this Packers defense does, on paper, have a chance to be a top 5 defense, but that is, most dominating performance in playoff history, perhaps. Back to the championship round. Oh, it's absolutely. Holding a quarterback to 3 picks, 36 completion percentage, and under 100 yards is just insane. Look at their run game. Oh my god, dude. That's literally the best performance ever. 6 sacks for Preston, 4.5 for Rashawn. What is happening here? That is insane. Almost 500 punt yards for them. Tress Way would get a playoff card in Ultimate Team for punting. And I guess that's, what you would get, for a punter, believe it or not. Maybe not a quarterback card. Championship round, anyone but the Seahawks or Niners. Thank you. Or that team. I forgot about that team. That team too. Damn it. Not Tom Brady. Please. Tom, let us go. Tom got bailed out last time. Don't let it happen again. Come on. Don't let it happen again. Huge rushing touchdown. 14-7, 10. Oh my god. Our defense goes from shutting someone out to giving up 24 31 in the first half. What a game, though, in fairness. But 38-24, they are literally scoring every single drive. And we can't score for crap. 0 points in the second half. It's like the opposite of what happened last time these two played in the playoffs. I mean, you got to go for this. You're leaving Tanyan? I can't really tell. Just leave Tanyan, please. And that's a tough one. You're going to be picked off. Maybe not the greatest play call, in fairness. Damn, dude. 0 points in the second half. Losing to the freaking Buccaneers again in the championship round. I'm sad. I mean, the numbers are pretty much the same. Leonard Fournette carried. Jared Cook, of course, joined him. I mean, how much help does the guy need? I mean, you got freaking... How many players? How many new players? Like, how many players does this guy need? All right, to the Super Bowl. Probably going to be the Buccaneers versus the Chiefs. The Patriots versus the Buccaneers. That is a lose-lose for the viewer. And even more so as the Buccaneers win it. Football can be canceled. No need to watch anymore. Romeo gets to star. Got a couple of upgrades as well. Anyone else defensively? Any dev-ups? Oh, a bunch, actually. Jair went down. Really? I can't allow it, dude. I just can't. Jair just... I'm not saying we should always grandfather a player in, but, like, certain players should probably retire X Factors. Like Jair, like we were just talking about Jalen Ramsey, like Aaron Donald. I just think those players should just be locked in at X Factor. Like, they really just should be. Savage was already a superstar. Amos going to go to free agency as a superstar. Rashawn Gary, I don't know if we can afford, but we're going to try to. Devontae with a dev up was huge. I mean, that is huge. Preston, it appears, is a little too late, but huge. He drops a speed anyways. I mean, of course, he's up there, but for a guy that got paid like a 5-year 50, huge to get that superstar, man. But let's see what we can afford. Can we even tag Elton Jenkins? I don't know. I would much rather lose Elton than Rashawn Gary at this rate. And I think, you know, when you think about the future, that might be the case. That might be what happens. But we'll see, as franchise tag is 12? Really? That sounds like a holdout to me. That sounds like a holdout to me. I mean, I'd be willing to edit him to a 4-year 80 if you guys think that's fair, which I think it is. I don't even know why he didn't accept it. Like, staying on a team that is, like, historically pretty damn good, getting paid top dollar, why wouldn't he stay? In free agency, he asked for about that, and that's in the open market. So we're going to give him a 4-year deal worth 80 with 50 of it guaranteed. I think that's fair. I know there's going to be someone, editing contracts. It's like, well, I could just tag him every year, and within the games, right, there would be no conflict. So should I just keep tagging him for 12 mil per year, or should I pay him 20 mil per year? You know, pick your poison. I'm a little frustrated, okay? Relax. And of course, he's not interested, but a 2-year 18 for Adrian would have been nice. Not going to keep Tanya, not going to keep Sammy, not going to keep Randall Cobb, not going to keep Alan Lazard. Kind of do need to keep Dean Lowry, but a 1-year 7 I could do better somewhere else. Jaron Reed, maybe that's somewhere else, but I might just draft someone. Rico Gafford never really had much of a chance. Don't really need the backup quarterback that much, assuming Rodgers is still here. And we have more money than I would have thought. He retired year 1. No shot. Are you kidding me? EA! EA! Like, you can't do that. Tom Brady retired even. The one time I do a Packers rebuild. Well, we got ourselves our title. Aaron Rodgers retires after 1 season. I was wondering why we had so much money. I was like, oh, we're kind of looking good. And it's because of Mr. Moneybags leaving. That's so annoying because I don't want to redo the rebuild and have him retire anyways the next season. So I guess we're just going to deal with it. And now Green Bay has to deal with the situation other teams in the division have had to deal with for years, and that is not having their franchise quarterback. Thankfully, Jordan Love is Hall of Famer back-to-back-to-back. All right, we have offered 4 free agents some money, and I'm hoping that we get them all. Let's see. That's the wrong... Damn it, I always hit right analog stick. It just feels more natural. And we did not get Juju. We did not get Tanyan. But we did get Jonathan Abram, a super poor man's Amos. And then we did get Joey Sly, kind of almost the same exactly as Crosby at that point in his career. Tanyan will not accept a 1-year... What was it, 6 I was offering? I was actually offering a 1-year 7. That is super fair. He literally doesn't have a market. And of course, Seattle wants Juju even more. They don't really need a wide receiver, so this is really kind of BS that they're making us bid war with them, but we really need a wide receiver. Did we get him? Nobody. Wait, where the hell did Juju go? Where did he go? Did he retire? He chose Seattle's deal, a worse team, $6 million less to join a team that's rebuilding still. I mean, we're kind of getting to that point, but not quite yet. Nobody wants, I mean, whatever, dude. One more evaluation. Did we get him? Yeah, we wore him down. Woo! As much as I would love for Jordan Love to be that guy, I don't know if he is. So if there's a quarterback in the draft, I am absolutely going to go for him. Wide receiver is probably focus number one, right? Like, it kind of has to be. Romeo showed some, potential. Christian Watson still has a chance. But, man, it's a squad that is not looking great at that aspect. However, defense is looking great. Kenny Clark, what did he do to drop in dev? Like, what's the big idea here? I'm not really sure. What's 16 tackles for a loss? I don't understand. I'm going to force his dev as well because, once again, regression's broken and can't turn it off, sadly. So, we have pick 30 in the draft. This guy is a 1-2, but his talent is a 2-3, which worries me, but I don't see how. B accuracy for deep, B accuracy for medium, A for short, B for under pressure. Very fast. I mean, this guy's blazing fast. He's got, good throw power, great strength. He's got a lot of goods and greats. I'm not really sure why they're not seeing this guy as better than that. Of course, I have this Marcus Hammond guy who's 6'3", and he's pretty damn fast. He, fits as that number one type wide receiver, which we, of course, were not able to get with Juju Smith-Schuster, who's not really number one, but Dobbs could be number one for us. And, I mean, honestly, like, what do we take outside of that? Like, Callahan looks decent, but realistically, we could probably just take Newberry, put him as our nose, and then move Kenny Clark to, like, defensive end, because, he's kind of athletic. I'm honestly not sure what to do here, because I just don't know if I want Love, the 24-year-old, as our starting quarterback, man. And now, realistically, we should be able to trade up with the Eagles because they grabbed a quarterback, but I just know how this game goes. They're going to be like, oh, they don't need a quarterback, but they're going to, like, not count the fact that they just drafted one, right? So, I mean, we're going to be moving up with the Cardinals. I think we're going to pull the exact same kind of move as Green Bay did to get Love. I was trying to give them Zach Tom instead, but this worked. Pick 30, third round this year, and Newman for 21 from the Cardinals, which will likely be the quarterback. I think we're just going to take him. If he sucks, he'll sit. If he's hidden, we may still give Jordan Love a chance because all those years kind of developing behind Rodgers and learning, I feel like you give him another chance. But Justin Patton, anything but normal. Anything but normal, and he is hidden development trait. A little bit slower than I would have thought, but 91 throw power and looks a bit old. And sadly, my, my DT is actually gone. I think I might take the tight end. Obviously, we don't need a tight end this moment. But if that guy's decent, like the way he looks, could be a super steal. We kind of need line 2, though. Seth Porter. How good is Seth Porter? 21. Decent athleticism. Blocking grades look decent. I don't know who to take, dude, because the tight end he's big. He's got good catching and all that, but he is only a 4.65 40. Yeah, we're going to take the tight end one up. Normal development trait, 84 speed, 88 excel. It's a little bit of an L, but it is what it is. Next user pick, which I do not believe that third is actually ours. It's a late 4th, actually. Let's see if there's any linemen or somebody there for us to take. And the only one left is Raekwon Davis of the Miami Dolphins, who's, pretty raw looking. We still do have Dylan Calhoun, though, who is insanely fast. It's a 4th round pick. I'm going to take him. 94 speed, 96 excel anyways. Very fast. May even be our number 3 out the gate because I, once again, don't really believe in Amari Rodgers too much. We're going to take a chance on this cornerback to maybe play safety for us. He'd be a backup anyways, but pretty athletic, normal development trait as well, and apparently Brett Favre. We're going to have this fullback, Wyatt Ainsworth, normal development trait. Not great, but had an A run block, so why not? Man, I'm kind of defeated. Losing Rodgers and then having, kind of a bad draft. I know we got the hidden development trait quarterback. Maybe he's a superstar, maybe he's an X factor, but outside of those really unlikely things, this is kind of an L draft. All right, draft recap. Give me something positive. The tight end is a 73 overall. The wide receiver is a 70, 67, 67, 62. And the quarterback is a 72 overall, which is miles higher than Mr. Jordan Love. But I think we're going to give Jordan Love a little bit of time. We didn't give him the fifth-year option because I figured how long he's been sitting behind Rodgers. If he's ready to go, he should show it early and often, right? So if he's not the guy, it's going to be pretty clear and evident. So didn't want to have him for another year while, we're looking to draft a quarterback. And, we'll see what happens. A.J. Dillon has some offers. We are literally desperate for anything. So if they give us a decent offer, I might take something here. This is the only offer. Michael Carter and Michael Clemens. Really? A running back for a running back. What an offer. Dean Lowry is still in free agency. We still need a left end. Welcome back, buddy. He wanted a 1-year 7. He ends up getting a 1-year 4. It worked out for us. We played real long, real hard ball. Hell yeah, real long and hard, I know. All right, year 2 team. We're going to be testing out the stats in preseason. We're going to be testing out the stats early on in the regular season. And whoever is better gets the starting job. Simply put, that's about it. The offense definitely can work, use some work on the offensive line. But at the same time, depending on what kind of resignings we need, we may be able to pull it off. Tackles are the toughest position to get, and we have both for long-term. Sean Ryan might be good for the future. Josh Myers, he is like 24, 25 already. The fact that we're struggling to get hidden development trade linemen is not a good sight, even though it's only one draft anyways. Wide receiver needs work. Interior, the line needs work. And we could use like a left end. But outside of that, it's not the worst squad. We kind of need a magical season from one of these quarterbacks, though. All right, let's take a look at the first preseason game. Jordan Love did not play a whole lot. He had 35 yards, a touchdown, 0 picks, 6 attempts, 3 completions, 50% completion percentage. Patton also 50% completion percentage, but way more attempts. 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Technically the worst game because of the pick, but also tougher to judge because he had a larger sample size. Now looking at game 2, where Love played a little bit more, he actually played worse in this game as he did not throw a touchdown. He had way less completion percentage, and Patton was the one with better completion percentage in this one. Overall better passer rating. Slight nod to Patton so far because he had a tougher game in week 1. Didn't really play too much worse. He just had that pick. And then in game 2, tougher, kind of, and outplayed a little bit. Last game, we win it, but I don't know if we're going to be able to see the stats because usually there's a glitch where you can't actually see it, but no, we can. The moment of truth, the starting quarterback is going to be Jordan Love. Jordan Love had a really good, of course, in game 3. It's kind of tough because obviously Patton didn't really get a chance to play, but Love had a really good game here, and he did it with the ones. So Jordan Love wins the 2-1 matchup, in my opinion, and gets to start until things potentially go really bad. But we don't know if that'll happen. So best selected Jordan Love, who still has a chance. It's going to be the new saga of forget the Jordan Love wasted pick. Patton is now the wasted first-round pick, which we traded up to get. Never-ending cycle. Woo! Already better than Rodgers. Of course, no Tom Brady, but beat the Buccaneers by 14. I gotta say, Jordan Love is killing it. He's absolutely killing it. 52 mil. Probably wouldn't have been able to afford the players that we have here if not for... what kind of money is this, actually? If not for Rodgers retiring. And I gotta tell you, the season's kind of going insanely well. So I don't know if I even care that Rodgers retired. This would be a 24 mil per year deal and no longer term commitment. What? What, he wants more? How much do you want us to commit? Of course, Savage, a 4-year 42. Oh my god. A.J. Dillon, a 4-year 20. He really, as much as I love Dillon in real life, like a lot, he's just not worth it. He's just not worth it for us, sadly. In real life, probably. In game, we don't need him. Simply don't need him. Runyon, I don't know if I trust my 4-year 20 for Jordan Love. The way he's playing right now, we might have to just sign him as a placeholder and then restructure him because he's killing it. Like, we give him a 5-year 124 instead, which would come out to a little, like, close to about 25 per. Barely touched the offer on Darnell Savage, a 4-year 44. $20 million left to work with, which is really low when you consider the fact that we have to pay Love. And his interest is pretty high. I mean, I think you got to pay him, right? Like, can we give him something like a 2-year, I don't know, 2-year 25? Like, almost fully guaranteed? I mean, it makes us broke, but it's also a fair contract because he is killing it after all. So, gonna have to let John Runyon go. I can't believe after losing Rodgers, we're still that broke. Is it David Bakhtiari, maybe? So, David Bakhtiari is making a boatload, in fairness. A lot of the guys are, actually, but Preston Smith is a kind of expensive guy, too. I mean, there are some really expensive players here, but I mean, just the fact that, like, we're not really paying a quarterback here yet. We're that broke is pretty bad. To the playoffs with no bye week at 13-4. We actually were 8-0 at one point, which is absolutely absurd. Of course, had a little bit of a downfall near the end, but better season with Jordan Love than Aaron Rodgers. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Let's take a look at the stats. Jordan Love playing even better than Rodgers, ironically enough. Aaron Jones, really good season. Dylan's touchdowns were a little low. Dobbs, just killing it. Calhoun was decent. Tanyan was pretty damn good. And Watson was okay, but still lacking that performance we need from him. Blocking was decent. Sack totals, got to give it to Preston. He's killing it. Devonte Wyatt, not bad. Of course, Rashawn Gary, solid. Kenny Clark was okay. Devontae, not terrible as a blitzer. Picks were pretty tame, kind of expected. Sly, really good numbers, way better than Crosby. Pat O'Donnell, kind of bad season. Calhoun, decent numbers. What kind of seasonal awards did we get? Jordan Love had to be up there. Number 10. We'll take a number 10 for Jordan Love's first year as a starter. Calhoun, Rookie of the Year with a really good season in fairness. Best quarterback goes to Love at 3. That's not bad. That's a Pro Bowl from him. Aaron Jones at 6. Wide receiver, not on the list, barely. No O-line, D-line, not shown. Gary at 2, Preston at 4. DB not going to be on the list, and then kicker at 4. Not bad at all with a wild card berth. Jordan Love, the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, taking on the Carolina Panthers. 84 overall, we're in 87. They barely made it. We almost had a bye week. And in the snow, this is brutal. Did you see the overhead? You literally couldn't see a damn thing. Actually absurd. This is what it takes to be the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. You have to deal with the snow. All right, going to the end of the game. Huge drive, but no score. The Panthers, however, do score 7. And just like the Packers in the playoffs, struggling to score. 7-10. Halftime score will finish 7-10. 7-17, and I think that's a GG. I think that's a GG, but maybe not. 14-17. Come on, offense. You have enough time. The defense is giving you so many chances. 3rd and 12, what are they going to do? I mean, you do kind of have to punt it there. Like, normally, if it wasn't snowy, I probably would go for it manually, but you do have to punt it. That was a really good punt, and of course, we can't stop a soul on the ground. Although, I want to come into the game and see what's up. Are they going to actually throw the ball here on 3rd and 14? Why wouldn't they just try and waste our last time out and make it tough on us? Might be exactly what they do, actually. And one-on-one tackle. Look at Douglas. Rasul Douglas making a play there. I love this weather, dude. This is sick. These snowy games. Hopefully we see a bunch of them in our Vikings franchise. Of course, would have to see, the Bears and the Packers. Speaking of, Calhoun breaks it free. The Packers special... He's still wearing number 4, by the way. The Packers special teams actually saves the day rather than ruins the day. That, I think, is my first punt return or kick return touchdown of the year on All-Pro. I mean, well, just in general, but you know what I mean? We are on All-Pro. Maybe I do need to make it all Madden, but the blocks did line up just perfectly. I mean, just barely perfectly. That's beautiful. That is just a miracle. Still probably going to lose because they have all 3 timeouts, but still, that's pretty sick. And look at that. They gained 26. I'm coming out here, dude. I'm watching this. The clock is moving. And I'm not saying we deserve to win a Super Bowl this year, but we definitely deserve to win a Super Bowl way more than this Panthers team does this at this point, without a doubt. And there goes Rashawn Gary. All it took was Rodgers to retire to be able to afford him, and now we're in a very good spot. Jair Alexander pressing up on, I believe, Robbie. Ooh, did we just leave Christian? And he's going to have to throw it away. Timeout. What does that mean? Was that a flag? Oh, come on, EA. Come on, EA. The game really just bailed him out, didn't it? Like, why is he hitting him late here? Preston literally never does that. Come on now. Game, for some weird reason, thinks it's time to run 4-man deep, or 3-man deep, pretty much. I'm not really sure why. I ran cover. I don't even know what I ran, to be honest. But they are going to throw it because the game doesn't know what the clock situation is, and we lost because of a penalty. Sweet. Gotta love when the refs like to play the game. Of course, it was Preston's fault, but EA chose that for us. Not like something we could have actually controlled. Well, that was an ultra waste. What a punt return touchdown, all for nothing. And we're not going to get the block. 7 seconds to pull off a miracle. You got to give Calhoun another chance after the first one. No shot! Get out of the way! Hail Marys. Oh my, it's going to get there. And dropped by Calhoun, sadly. Oh, what a try, though. Of course, gotta love losing to a very non-superior team. Lovely stuff. Dobbs has just been insane, dude. He's actually insane. Sack totals, I mean, we had a couple of numbers, but a penalty that literally gave him the game from Preston. Both teams missed a kick, but of course, theirs was blocked. Joey Sly just straight up missed his. It was from 50+ in fairness, but still. All I know is if Jordan Love doesn't get to star Dev after that, I am going to be forcing it. I don't care what anyone says. I honestly thought we were going to end up using that rookie quarterback, and I'd say the majority you thought that's what I was going to end up doing no matter what. I was going to find some sort of Weasley excuse, but I was just going to let it play out. Of course, the Bengals win the Super Bowl, getting their revenge against the NFC. Jordan Love, of course, is only going to be normal development trait, and once again, Aaron Jones right there just proved why I do not like putting on the dev regression. Because it just doesn't work. It just simply doesn't work. Of course, Tanya goes to superstar. It's not going to matter. We're going to be letting him go. But Aaron Jones had a very good season. 4.6 yards per carry. He was like 1,400 yards rushing, and he dropped in dev. God, please fix it. Please, EA, fix it. Why would that season drop him in dev? Of course, Calhoun joining Team Star Dev, whereas Christian Watson is kind of looking like a bust. And then defensively, Kenny Clark dropped in dev again. Devonte dropped in dev, and Gary went up in dev. I'm going to take a look at some of these seasons. I'm not really sure what the parameters should be for deving, but considering he went up to superstar from this season, I'm not sure how a season that was literally better after that dropped him in dev, so I'm just going to put him back up, I guess. And then Kenny Clark, I can't remember, but I thought he had a better year than last year. And of course, I know one of the big elephants in the room with this issue is that, you know, if we're changing the devs of our guys back, you know, the other teams in the league aren't getting that benefit. However, to kind of counteract that idea, I think the fairness with that is that we don't sign the big ticket, huge name free agents that other teams do. So that kind of counteracts that a little bit, right? Like you see tons of times, like Justin Herbert will be on like, you know, the Falcons or something. Like it's like we don't do those types of moves. I don't remember the last time we signed someone that crazy. Like the highest we did was like a 90 overall. That was like a guy that legit was going to leave the team probably in real life. But it's just so broken. Like the regression, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it just doesn't really work. We have 40 mil to work with. Could get A.J. Dillon back. How good did he actually play for us? I'd be willing to offer him like a 3 or 15. It was one of his better years. Kind of better year as in like compared to last season in the game. But do you really need it? I don't know. Like it just doesn't seem worth it. Runyon wants even more money. I'd rather just sign some like slightly higher overall that's got more potential. Or just sign, you know, draft some players. So I'm good with what we got. I'm going to let those guys go. Of course, Tanyan sucks to lose him, but that young tight end we got, I think, has way more potential anyways. But yeah, Nick Bosa. Like names like Nick Bosa, Herbert, Burns, Terrell. We don't sign these types of guys. So we don't have that kind of benefit, you know, whereas the other teams do. So that's kind of our trade-off, I suppose. So we offered a contract to Claypool, a 3-year $30, and Jonah Jackson, a 2-year $25, and they both accepted. Claypool is kind of like a slightly slower version of what we were hoping Christian Watson would be. And Christian Watson just isn't going to develop for us. Like, he's playing okay, but he's really not putting up those types of numbers. Whereas Claypool, he's kind of already been there, and he's obviously a very good contributor. And, I mean, a guy you can actually depend to throw the ball on. Throw the ball to, depend on, words. Whereas Christian Watson's already 25, literally almost the same age as him. 79 overall, way worse in catching. Release is, like, not even usable. All he's got going for himself is that he's fast. I think he's just going to be our kick returner guy, so high second-round Packer player, made for kick returns only. Love it. So we have pick 24, but we have a bunch of 2 to 3 talents that are actually really solid. A couple of 3 to 4s, actually, that are really talented, and I think that's probably the route we're going to go, is just trade down and grab more talent, but later. So the trade on the trade, calculator that I use said this was dead even. They said it was very close, so we just added a random wide receiver to end up getting 48 and 58 from the Eagles for pick 24, which of course works out really well for us. I was pretty interested in this guy, but I never fully scouted him. 6'3", 299, very athletic. Man, I don't know the block shed, but he does have an A power move, A tackle. What other kind of ratings do you have? A hit power, A play. Yeah, I'm going to grab Terrence Joyner. Of course, normal development trait, but we've seen that so commonly lately that it doesn't even really surprise me, and it doesn't really even upset me. We're going to trade 24 in the second round for 67 and 99, as once again, a lot of our guys are 3 to 4s. And we're going to do the same with the 26 pick, go to 66, gain a 5th round this year instead, which, once again, that was kind of the plan, is to grab a bunch of, kind of decent talent that might all be normal, but they all, have high potential. And hope for the best, which we should be able to do. Blackburn, he's not the fastest, but he had a B in catching, a B in zone, a B in press. Man coverage sucks, and he is 5'9", but, I mean, he does give me good vibes. 21, we kind of need a slot corner going forward, as Rasul Douglas is on his final year, and I'm not going to pay a normal development trait like 28, 29-year-old future-wise. So I'm going to take a chance on Blackburn, and he's actually still pretty athletic, actually. They have both of these linemen as like 1 to 2 round, grades, but based on just the way things look, I imagine Mayweather's better, so that's who we're gonna grab here. Joan Mayweather, head development trait, decently athletic, strong, is a little bit short, but he is pretty heavy, so he's a good player. And we kind of need another lineman or two, so I'm probably gonna go until we lose one more lineman and then just trade up for the remainder. We trade a 7th round pick to move up 3 spots of the Steelers after Baptiste was taken. The center still look pretty good in my opinion, but we'll see if this is a sell or not, as that is likely going to be the choice. I really do want Sloan. I think we can still get him with that high 4th, and if not, that's a huge sell, but it is what it is. He's a backup running back anyways, and Stewart looks pretty good too, but he's a little bit more like scary potential-wise. So Kevin Fitzgerald, the 3 to 4 round guy, he is actually like pretty decently. He's like 6'4", 300 pounds. He probably could play tackle if you needed him to. But Kevin Fitzgerald, also hidden development trade. That's a dub. Little iffy with a lot of the normal devs early on, but some hidden development trade linemen never hurts. And with this selection, we do have, once again, a big nose tackle type with Corey Crowder. But I think Sloan, who is literally a 1-to-1 for A.J. Dillon and then some with that speed, is a guy you cannot pass on. So welcome to the team, Paul Sloan. Another hidden development trait guy. I almost said lineman. And the base, based on his speed and all that, and how big he was, and, so a lot of the A's, could this be perhaps one of those generational talents? I'm just saying. More draft picks. It never ends. And we have a bunch of talent still there. Crowder, the nose tackle, I just want him. I don't know what the block shed's going to be, but CCC and a bunch of C's. Super strong, might even be 99 strength. Corey Crowder, not hidden, though. I thought, unless it was an update recently, I thought, that was hidden automatic. We've seen so many hiddens from those nose tackle types that I'm actually shocked to see a normal dev one. And then, of course, we have the center or the linebacker. The linebacker's probably a little bit more raw, a little bit more risky, but also a little bit more needed, as we've just recently grabbed a billion linemen. What is Stewart looking like anyways? Nah, we're taking Stewart. Screw it, dude. Another hidden. It's a win. Do we just trade up for the linebacker as well? Why not? Let's trade up with the Buccaneers. We trade a 5th and a 6th, which is the remainder of our draft to the Buccaneers for this pick, which will be the linebacker. Do we actually need a punter? We might need a punter. Oh, well, who cares? He has a D accuracy, even though he's strong-legged. Mr. Cameron Cohen, who's hidden. Holy crap, this draft is juiced. Oh, I mean, don't really need him, I suppose, but that's insane. Did we draft, I think, 3 hidden linemen, a hidden linebacker, a hidden running back? I don't know if any of the D linemen were hidden. I mean, we drafted a couple of DTs. Pretty sure he was normal, right? Yeah, normal development trait. Joyner is 80 power move, though, in fairness, so might even start out the gate. I can't remember who we even have to, play there, if not him. Blackburn was a 73 overall, of course, also very young. Ooh, kind of give me those DJ Reed vibes, which I don't know if that's really a good thing in this case. Mayweather. I honestly think there's a chance, all of these linemen could start. Because, all of our other guys are all normal. Except for our left guard, Jonah Jackson, we just added. I don't know. We're going to start 1 or 2 of these guys at least. And maybe even trade off the current linemen that are starting. Because, they are pretty good players. They just don't have the development chance that these guys do. Because these guys are obviously hidden. We're going to leave the running back for last. As we do want to see the, the devs on these linemen first. Which are all probably going to be star. But that running back, I don't know, dude. There's a chance. There's a chance he could be busted. We'll even look at the linebacker first before him, who's obviously probably never going to have a chance to start, but pretty sick, dude. Pretty sick. Let's take a look at his dev, which is also star. That running back, I kind of want to see his ratings as well, obviously. He has 92 carrying, 78 trucking, 84 stiff, 78 juke. Injury, stamina, and toughness is a little low, I will admit. Could this guy actually be generational? I don't think that's... I think generational needs to be, really high overall, though. And, yeah, he's only star, so he's not even close to generational. Let's go number 27, giving me Eddie Lacy vibes. Big boy. But, yeah, I mean, when I had that kicker that was, a superstar with, 99 kick power, 84 accuracy, someone said that all the generational guys are X Factor, but surely, dude... Surely a superstar 99 kick power. I think it was 99, right? It was either 97 or 99 kick power, 84 accuracy kicker. That has to be generational. It has to be. Unless they didn't add generational kickers and that's just a randomer. I don't know. Of course, we kind of passed up Crowder because he was normal dev, but he is a gigantic nose tackle tank, in fairness. Well, he's turning into a generational talent. He's going to be superstar development, it appears. Did Aaron Jones just talk up his potential replacement? I think he might have. Sloan is now a superstar and basically a young Nick Chubb. We traded Josh Myers and Zach Tom to the Cowboys for a 4th and 5th round pick. We are having a very, very weird season right now, and I do not know what to do about it, but a couple of re-signings, some very expensive ones. Eric Stokes wants I guess I can just give him a 5-year 75, which he's happy to re-sign. He's a very good corner. He's star dev. He's got plenty of potential still. It appears we don't really have to pay anyone here, so we could probably actually keep, guys like Kenny Clark, which that's actually very costly. A 2-year near 44, and he still doesn't want it. I get his interest is kind of low, but really? Of course, David Bakhtiari has actually probably played the best tackle I've seen in Sim so far. That is a lot of money per year, but 2-year 54 is it's 27 per, which is kind of what he was already getting. Aaron Jones, I'll have to see how well he's playing. He kind of has to kill it this year because Sloan is kind of prepped to be the guy. He's playing about as well as normal, which is good. But can we afford to keep him, especially when we might have to pay Love again soon? And, of course, Clark wants more money. If he does a 2-year deal worth, I don't know, 17? If we win, I think we're in the playoffs. If not, we might actually miss them, and we are in. The Lions win the division. We also had to make a quarterback change as Jordan Love was struggling early, and it seems like it was the good call as Patton ended up with less interceptions, yet played more and had better yards and touchdowns. Of course, the yards weren't crazy great, but still a better yards per game than Love by quite a bit, actually. Yeah, it's just... I don't know, dude. This quarterback situation, it's really starting to make me sad for real life. But of course, Patton kind of deserved the job, quarterback of the future, day one starter tag, which seems like it's kind of true as Jordan Love got outplayed. He kind of was leading us to a bad season. Well, it was like 2 wins for 4 losses, so decided to make that move, and it worked out. Of course, looking at the running back numbers, Aaron Jones was pretty good again. Touchdowns were really low, though. Dobbs, just absolutely insane. And I know some people are like, it's Dubs, but apparently he says Dobbs. I thought it was Doobs at first, and then I heard him say Dubs, and I think he just went with Dubs because people said it, and then he corrected everyone and said it's Dobbs. So I don't even know, dude. But Claypool was really good for us. Calhoun was worse, but still good. Butler, really good. Looking at blocking numbers, solid numbers there. Rashawn Gary still putting up great numbers. We need a new outside linebacker for Preston, though. Got to replace him. Kenny Clark, good stuff. Quay Walker, really good. Devonte Wyatt, still not fully developed yet, and it's really sucky. It's taking too long. Sly missing 5 kicks out of 21 is not great. Andrews was decent. Christian Watson, look at that, showing some value for once as a kick return, punt return guy. Yearly awards, I don't imagine we would have won anything, right? I can't really think of anyone. Oh, we were going to go with McGee, and he was actually really good. Maybe we would have won, close to award. Oh, there we go. Rashawn Gary won something, but yeah, outside of that, not actually winning, but might have been close. I just don't really care too much unless we actually win something. But nonetheless, we are back in the playoffs going against the Cowboys. They're in 88. We're in 89. Once again, we talked about Rodgers' Super Bowl win was, a lot of dome games in the playoffs, and here we are back in a dome situation early in the playoffs. I say a lot of dome, but it was like 50-50. It was like 50 dome, 50 in the cold, so it doesn't really mean what you think it means, but it was more in a dome than most seasons for Green Bay in the playoffs. 13-7, pretty good start out the gate. 20-7, 27-7. Huge touchdown before half, though, but second half starting off strong, and that should be a GG. 42-21, 45-21, 45-27, and wow, I mean, that game took so long. Like, they actually kind of had a chance near the end. It felt like we were, we had it wrapped up. I don't know if we were just punting the ball on and just failing to continue the drive, but really good game for Patton. Rushing was awful for Jones. Patton wasn't much better. I mean, kind of garbage numbers, to be honest. Claypool was decent for us. Some okay numbers, but nothing really spectacular on offense. Preston Smith in the postseason killing it again. Eric Stokes, 2 interceptions in a game in the playoffs is so good. Here we are headed to the divisional round, going up against the Atlanta Falcons, who have had some success early on in this Madden 23 cycle. That Murray guy looks pretty sick. Actually, X-Factor running back. All right, going to the end of the game. 3-0. Come on, offense. You had a really good game last week, and we really needed it because the defense kind of choked. 23-7, 23-14. Right before half, a touchdown, 30-14, 37-14. Patton's kind of putting on a show here. 37-22 and 40-22. This has definitely been one of the weirdest rebuilds I've done in some time in Madden, I will say, because once again, we went from Rodgers to thinking, okay, we had a pretty good year. We still have maybe another year or two, to him retiring right away. Which, once again, I believe in real life he can kind of do that and get away with like a bunch of guaranteed money that would screw Green Bay so hard, and they're kind of just like trusted him not to. But then we got Jordan Love, who won the job, looked great, then sucked early this year, following his first, actual season as the starter. And then Patton's out here kind of doing things really impressively. For all we know, Patton could suck the next year, and then, it's like Jordan Love back as a starter. I don't even know. It's like a quarterback committee around here. But what I do know is we are headed to the championship round for the first time since season 1, I believe, which, I mean, it's not that many seasons in, but still, since Rodgers, I believe. And guess who in the championship round again? The Tampa Bay MFN Buccaneers. Yep, I said it. All right, going to the end of the game. If we lose this game, it's another rematch of the Buccaneers versus Patriots in the Super Bowl. And it sure as hell is looking like that. After a really strong start to preseason, or postseason, we are down 42-9. Holy playbooks controlling the game, Batman, as we get smoked 50-20. to 12 with an even team. Matt Corral killed us. Patton got killed. Their team is literally worse than ours. Only thing they have on us is wide receivers. And even then, it's not like crazy much, right? I'd imagine Mike Evans has regressed a bit. Our O-line is probably similar, if not better. Defense is pretty close, but probably better from us. Oh my god, I love it. 52-12 between two teams that are literally evenly matched. Love that, dude. That's fun. Super fun. But maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe it'll be another 4-year Super Bowl or year 4 Super Bowl. Or maybe it'll be another failed rebuild because the game hates us. Patriots, Buccaneers again. I think the Buccaneers are going to win another Super Bowl. They do. 55-49. They literally can't be stopped. They scored 100 points in 2 games. That's insane. Patton, of course, will not go up in dev because obviously he was, not the start of the whole season and wasn't great in general. Butler, surprised he didn't go up in dev. Surprised Dobbs hasn't gone up in dev yet. What else? O-line, nothing. Jones obviously went down in dev, and at this point, I'm not even going to fight it. I'm just going to let Jones hit free agency. He's 30 years old, star development trade. He wants a 4-year 32. I can't do it. Clark went down in dev as he does. I think we lost Devonte Campbell's dev. What is Kenny Clark's stats? Like, what was his season? He had 7 sacks. It's like the most in his career. And he had 14 tackles for a loss. So, I mean, I guess I keep forcing his dev back to superstar, I guess. I don't know. Oh, Devonte is actually still superstar. It was Preston that lost his dev, which, of course, he's getting old, but yeah, he did have a down year. But 10.5, 14.5, and then 8 sacks, I still think is super good, but I suppose we'll be looking to replace him anyways. Hopefully we can get rid of him this year. We kind of can, but it's not going to be like that useful for us to do so. Wait, did Blackburn? Well, how did he go to star? Was he like Defensive Rookie of the Year or something? How the hell did he, like, maybe had a couple of picks? Well, I mean, it's clutch timing because we need him to go to, we need him as our number 3, so that's pretty nice, but did not expect that, I'll tell you what. But yeah, looking at Darnell Savage went down in dev, actually. That's why it looked different. I mean, he is playing really, like, basically, but he got his dev up from a breakout, so it's kind of unfair to lose his dev from, like, bad season, but it is what it is, I guess. Tougher rebuilds every single Madden now. So we, of course, let Aaron Jones go. There are some really good names in here, but also unrealistic names. Obviously, Aaron Jones is a pretty cheap deal, but he's also star dev only, along with a bunch of other guys. So we're hoping Sloan is ready. He obviously has all the potential in the world and is still super young. He's just coming off of a rookie year, obviously. But what can we actually do to make the team better? Like, quarterback is set. Running back, kind of set. We could definitely use a backup. We might just draft someone, I suppose. I don't really want to pay, actual money for a backup. Although Michael Carter's not terrible at 26. If he wants to join back, or not join back, but he'll join us. I was going to join back because, we got him on that one trade offer they tried to give him to us. We don't need a wide receiver that badly. Tight end, I do think maybe we should make a new move because Butler's, he's not a bad player, but he's not developing. Even though we have the sliders on 150 for tight end. O-line is not really much we can do there. Left end, right end. I'm not really liking the way Devonte Wyatt's developing too much, but what can I do at this point? I mean, other than completely replace him in the draft, which we've looked, and the draft is kind of strugglesome right now for DTs. Not doing super well there. Ojulari, way overpriced. I honestly think we just, make some plays in the draft and hope to land someone decent. Away, though, is actually not looking bad. Ooh, his power move is kind of bad, though. All right, so we have pick 29. There's 2 kind of players that we have there that, honestly, we don't even really technically need, but are both solid players nonetheless. And we're going to decide on who we want just right now. I mean, we're going to figure it out. So Price, he's a little raw with catching. C catch in traffic. He does have an A catch, but C deep route, D release. Very solid in speed. I don't even know if we need a wide receiver that badly, but he's an option. He's a thought, obviously. And then we have the guy that I would probably like to see more. Oof, maybe not actually. Man, this draft sucks. This guy had an A to C finesse and a power move and ended up being C in both, man. A tackle, A play rec. We do have to potentially pay Wyatt this season. If he's normal development trait, that's a Mad L, though. He's 6'6", 306. He is 21. We're going to take the shot on him. And he is hidden, which is a steal for us. We, of course, could also use edge rusher, which, I mean, the guy we have isn't really great there, but he's probably the only option there is for this draft. I can't trade up for the guy. He's just too raw. I just can't. We'll take a look at him after the draft, but he's just too raw, and he's also not that fast. He's like a 4.7 40. He is 6'6", though, in fairness, but yeah, I just can't do it. I'm going to go with Brett Brooks instead. Probably don't even need the lineman, but he looks great, and he is. And even though we don't really need a running back that badly, we could definitely use a backup since our starter was a backup, and we have no backups currently. A stiff, A trucking, pretty much getting the same kind of situation what we have already at starter, but a little bit slower. Ronald Weaver, and another hidden development trait running back. Once again, don't really need him to, be hidden or great, but a late third, I figured, values there. And the rest of the draft class, I mean, there's not really much going on here. Ricky Bloomberg, I mean, B power move, C block shed, 40 reps. He's an undrafted projected 4th round. I mean, they're all undrafted, but, there's really not much else going on. You know what I mean? These guys kind of fast. I'm going to trade down, I guess. Yeah, I'm glad we didn't make that play because they're still there. I'm going to go with the wide receiver because you can never have too many wide receivers. Jalen Burnett. Very fast, of course. Actually, really developable. Then why not take a super strong kicker with bad accuracy? He's 23, but 97 kick power. I don't know if he's going to start at any time, but we get ourselves a good kick power backup at minimum, and then this pick will probably be a trade down. All right, let's take a look at the draft recap. Obviously, the DT is huge for us. Oh, he's a 77 overall. Of course, a little raw with the power move, but 78 block shed, super strong. Okay, that's a dub. Also, the right guard was hidden, in fairness. Yeah, the draft was actually a little bit better than I remembered, to be honest. And then the running back, we don't really care too much what his actual dev is, but I am curious to see if we land ourselves, some superstar player or something. He's got a bunch of traits, and obviously, we now have pretty good depth at running back. His dev is star development trait, DT. Please be a superstar. We've been really struggling to draft superstars or better for positions we really need, and that will sadly continue. Oh, I forgot we also have Michael Carter, which is pretty damn clutch, actually, because now we have 3 solid, good dev running backs. Season 4 team, obviously a little bit of a hit at the running back spot, and, well, not a quarterback spot, but compared to year 1 with Rodgers, technically a hit. Wide receivers, 87 overall, 86 for Dobbs. Of course, 79 for Calhoun. We're really just not developing quickly. Forget a year 5. There may not even be a reason to do a year 5 because the team could just be so garbage. But, oh well, there's potential. Gary can carry, so can Jair and Stokes. Clark can stop the run game. Wyatt's, not bad. Savage is solid. The defense really should be doing better than it has so far. Of course, Wyatt better at block shedding than pass rushing, which is kind of iffy, but I mean, it's a good overall. It's one of the better teams. It's probably a top 10 roster, but man, I don't feel great. I really don't. Romeo Dobbs, not really asking for a whole lot. He has been pretty good for us. I'd be willing to give him wait, that's okay. I mean, that's not terrible. I'll take that. All right, we'll take it. Works out for me. Jonah Jackson. Don't really need linemen, but he is a good player. Quay Walker, we're going to give him the deal, obviously. We'll just do a 5-year near 50, which I think is fair. What else do we have? Devonte Wyatt, a 3-year 50 for a guy that has underperformed hard. Jordan Love, of course, not going to keep him around. Man, I don't want to replace Devonte Wyatt, but at the same time, he really hasn't been worth it, right? But as far as the guy that starts at 24 goes, he's developed well because of that, aspect. But a 3-year, nearly 50. I don't know, dude. That's kind of a lot. A 2-year 33. I don't even know what that is, but it's. I guess that's okay. Let's see how good Jonah Jackson is before we actually give him the contract. He is a finesse type. He has played well for us, though. Giving up, pretty limited sacks overall. Do we really need him, though? That's the question. But also, do we really need to save money? Not really, so I guess Another iffy season, finishing with a win and losing the division to the Lions again. The Lions are constantly winning the division out here. Of course, bad game, whatever, dude. I don't even know how true those are. It's probably like never true, but we'll take the free XP, whatever. The game doesn't want to fix that. I don't care. It's not my problem. Let's take a look at how the season went, though. Patton, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards, but also a lot of picks. Still a trade-off I'd take every day of the week, I think. Sloan, a lot of yards. Yards per carry wasn't great, though, and the touchdowns are low. Same with Carter. Claypool, that's a superstar, Dev. Dobbs looking pretty good. Calhoun, decent. Butler, is that the same exact yards he had last season? Bruh, how? Almost the exact same season. A little bit, different rack and whatnot, but, the exact same yards. How is, does that even ever happened? I don't even know. David Bakhtiari, 13 sacks allowed. Love that. That's great. Glad we're paying him. Preston needs to be replaced. Devonte Wyatt, we did pay him a 2-year 32, and, he's actually kind of earned it a little bit. Kenny Clark, a little iffy. Pick totals, pretty tame stuff. I mean, last year was kind of the window, and, we'll see. We'll see if we can do it, but I don't feel great going forward, but maybe the team is still good enough right now to have a chance as far as any awards go. We did get one with Jonah Jackson, who will be a superstar after getting that extension from us, which is pretty cool. Washington, I think we beat already with, it was a high-scoring game, wasn't it? 90 to their 88. Could it be a Year 4 Super Bowl win for the, billionth time, or could it be a 5-year fail for the billionth time? 14-7. 14-14, 21-14, and right before half getting a field goal, up 10. 31-14, looking pretty good to win this game. Only up by 14, only up by 7. The game will hold on with a 31-24 victory. I really thought it was clear-cut that they're going to win that with how many times we were choking. Pretty good game from Patton, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. Sloan, over 4 yards per carry. Claypool, pretty good. Christian Watson, we did sign him back to a 2-year 8.2. Yeah, he's a fast guy, good kick returner, and Joey Sly sold. Glad we paid him. I don't even know. It was like a 3-year 10, I think. Divisional round, anyone but the Buccaneers, please. The Rams, that's an interesting team. They're only an 82. They're literally only an 82. If we lose this game, dude, there's literally no chance to win a Super Bowl. All right, going to the end of the game. Starting off with a really strong drive for a touchdown. Almost did again, but we turned it over, I think. 10-7. Still 10-7. Turnovers left and right are costing us, but we actually capitalized on one. Up 10, entering the fourth. Up 7. Up 10 again. Only up by 3. Sold on the drive. Clock is running out. You just kind of have to clock it, and we kind of scored too early. We should have just ran the clock on and kicked the field goal. But it's not going to matter as we're going to head to the championship round, beating the Rams by 7. Let's take a look at the numbers. Of course, multiple interceptions for Patton, sadly. Really not a great game from him, but Sloan was pretty good. Receiving Dobbs, 2 touchdowns. Claypool, decent numbers. Sack totals. That name did not look like what it looked like to me at first. I'll tell you what. I was like, hey, I don't condone that behavior, but, you'd probably want to hide a little bit better than that unless you're trying to do the right thing and turn yourself in, try to get some help or something. That is kind of crazy to think, though. Obviously, this is a really weird turn. Obviously, the pedophilia is wrong, but if somebody's willing to turn themselves in about thoughts about it, you do kind of have to help them, right? Because, it could have gone much worse. I don't know if there's anything like that, but, there should be, I'd rather have someone turn themselves in than, go a different route, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, that's... You didn't think you were going to hear that in a rebuild video, but here you are. Of course, Aaron Donald is a Falcon. Desmond Ritter's an X Factor, and we are going home with a win. Come on! Nice start after they got the ball first. 7-all. Beating the Falcons with this year's, coding is really tough. As you can see, 17-10 right before half. That's a huge, huge dub right there. Another touchdown. Only up by 7. Driving down, not scoring. It is now a 1-point deficit. They're field goal kicker, kind of sold. They almost scored at the last second, but didn't, and we're headed to the Super Bowl. Ritter wasn't, great. Patton was pretty good, but he threw that pick, which was costly. Running for us was awful. Running for them wasn't that great either, but they did have the 3 touchdowns. Receiving, Dobbs, he's just insane. He's insane. Claypool actually did really well, too. Sack totals, Gary looking good. Pick for York. I actually seen a 6'4 corner in the draft. That might have been the guy, because I don't know how common 6'4 corners are, but, there he is. Or there one is. Once again, maybe it is common, I don't know. And the team in the Super Bowl is the Ravens. Interesting. They're a 90 overall as well. We're a 91. What is our dev up? So Patton does go to Superstar. Dobbs is still not a freaking superstar. How is he not a superstar yet? Let's take a look at his numbers. Bruh. Come on. Give him a damn dev up. Claypool obviously deserved it because he had a really, really good season. Really good season. Obviously, Patton was a lot of yards and touchdowns, but he did throw a lot of picks. So I thought maybe he wouldn't have gotten it because of that. I guess not. Of course, Jonah Jackson with his award ended up getting his dev up to Superstar. Defensively, Clark went back down. Campbell's the same as he was before. Savage, I think we just let him drop because he did have kind of a bad season. But yeah, I'm not saying this is the last season, but this is probably the last season of us doing really well. Preston's going to be gone. Campbell's going to be regressed to a point where he's not even going to be usable. Clark might start regressing hard. We're going to lose Abram. Savage might start regressing. We're going to lose a lineman or two probably. I'm not saying this is the year, but it definitely is going to get a bit uglier next season. Going to the end of the game, the Ravens playbook has never been good for me. And I can only imagine it's going to be great for them, although we are up 20-3 right now. They get a touchdown there, huge touchdown before half, and they're just still scoring at will here. We look like we were going to potentially run away with this, and look at the instant scores they're getting. Please, offense. And they're going to hold on for the win. The Packers are Super Bowl champions once again without Rodgers. Patton is now doomed to never win another ring ever again. Of course, still a lot of the really good core players that are, the Packers are kind of known for, like Jair, Rashawn Gary, Devondre Campbell now, as of last year, David Bakhtiari. We still have Dobbs, who's, potentially going to be that name to talk about in the future. Aaron Jones, of course, is gone, but, Sloan, not really that name, but Savage is still here. Preston Smith is still here. Quay Walker, obviously. Kenny Clark, a lot of the original kind of names that you think of when you think of the Packers were still here, just outside of that number 12 fella, as they hoist the Lombardi and bring it back to Titletown, which I'm going to be honest with you is kind of, Titletown, the name has kind of fallen off a little bit lately. We need this trophy to get back out there. Patton, really good game. Lamar Jackson managing the game as expected, yet they still did so well to almost win the freaking game. Of course, Najee Harris is nice to have, but holy, we threw a pick to Josie Jewell. What was his speed at this point? 2? He starts with 3. Must have finished with 2 speed. And I'm just going to be happy that we didn't have to play against the Buccaneers because they were ending our dreams left and right. Romeo Dobbs is going to literally finish without being superstar. His short route is so awful. But of course, he is, he was kind of touted to be that deep threat guy, and he definitely is. I'm surprised to see his release actually be up there. So, really good style, deep style receiver. He developed really well. Just once again, never got to superstar. And then Claypool, I believe, is going to be that short route guy. We pretty much have a player for everything. We have the deep route, we have the short route, kind of jump ball guy. Calhoun is the medium to deep speedster. Wearing Brett Favre's number, of course. Sloan, let's take a look at what his ratings ended up being. He's a pretty good overall already. Almost another upgrade on top of it. 90 stiff, 86 trucking. Super speedy. Does remind me once again of, like a young Nick Chubb. Just kind of needs a little bit more in the elusiveness. Patton, his deeper accuracy sucks, but everything else is really good. Of course, we do have a lot of deep threat guys, so it's kind of sucky that he is bad with that. I don't think we really need to see anything else for the offense. Maybe we'll look at Elton Jenkins, I guess. Pretty damn good player. Run stuff is, not super great, but still pretty damn good with that even. I guess we'll look at Christian Watson. Never really developed for us. He's 26 now. He's not bad. He's a really good route runner. It's just his catching sucks, which, is kind of a problem in real life. It seems, at least, as of the camp kind of news. Defensively, Devonte Wyatt, of course, he was decent. It wasn't anything special, but a really good block shedder, I suppose, which just really isn't what should have been focused on. But if I were to upgrade every player manually throughout these series, these would take like 10 hours to record minimum. Eric Stokes, of course, sick man press corner, with Jair also being that type. Obviously, he's good at zone coverage as well, as he's literally max, but, great press. Oh my god, he's filthy. He's so disgusting. It's awesome. Let's take a look at the defensive side of things. Rashawn Gary, 99 overall. He's got to be great at everything. 99 power, 91 finesse. Block shed sucks at 78 or 75, but he's so good outside of that. Why not just make him a block shedding finesse guy or power, move in general? But the game's like, no, he needs to have two really good pass rush styles. Quay Walker, insane tackle. He did start really high in fairness. Block shed's great. Zone coverage is pretty good. Man coverage is decent. And then is there anyone else? Like Savage, I suppose we'll take a look at because, he's an original Packer as well. Very solid player, kind of like an Adrian Amos, ironically enough. We chose the youth after that dev up specifically, and it seemed to work out as we ended up with the Super Bowl win. Barely, though. Barely got it. I could have probably looked at Kenny Clark, but he dropped down a star. He was kind of trashed throughout the whole thing. Probably should have let him drop to star early, but barely winning. I thought this was going to be one of those ones where it's like, maybe we get 2 Super Bowls for Rodgers, he retires, and then we struggle to develop the team, because obviously Rodgers there so long that we couldn't really develop a backup quarterback, so I thought maybe we wouldn't be able to develop someone, so it would be an early success, no success afterwards, but Rodgers just straight up left after year 1 and made things really tough, but ultimately we ended up getting the win in the Super Bowl. Barely, though, as once again, every single season was like 10-7 or 11-6, even though we had that 1 12-5 season, and just kept dropping off each year afterwards, but kept staying a top 5, top 10 team for years, just couldn't get over the hump in the playoffs, which sadly for the Packers is literally all true for real life. I just want to see one more ring for Rodgers, even one more Super Bowl trip. Of course, if Rodgers gets to the Super Bowl and loses, even if he has an absolutely god-tier game, he's gonna get clowned so hard. There's really, at this point, I guess because people were so butthurt about the COVID vaccination thing, I'm still not sure why that triggered so many people. Because of that, no matter what he does, he's going to get crapped on, 100%. He could literally have, 2,000 yards in the postseason, which I don't even know if that's physically possible. If you have to go through the wild card, 500 yards a game or whatever, and he would still get crapped on. It's Mickey Mouse win, dude. The long snapper was hurt for the other team, something like that, at this point. I suppose that's probably the way Brady has it as well. I just want to see a win, even if it's the most cupcake win ever. We play against, Caleb Haney at quarterback again in the championship. I don't care, dude. I just want another ring. We got to see it here, but let's talk about real life next, please. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed, maybe leave a like. Subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, appreciate your continued support a ton. Once again, I don't know when this would have been uploaded. This was kind of like a precautionary recording / edit for me, this is a team that most people probably wouldn't rebuild this early on, so I was like, I'll have this in case my lower overall team gets, uploaded the same day before I have it uploaded myself, so, just as a precautionary, so I don't know if this would have been on Wednesday or, vice versa, Sunday, Wednesday, whatever. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, like I said, leave a like, subscribe, maybe follow me on Twitter, JeromepkR, second channel, PKR Plays, twitch.tv/JeromepkR for streams, which I've lacked on for some time now. And if you have a team you want to see next for rebuilds, let me know in the comment section below. We've gotten 4 or 5 up already, and we're obviously going to do all 32. We'll do fantasy style as well, where there's trades. We'll do, whenever crazy trades happen in real life happen, or after the draft and all that, we'll have rebuilds for, the whole year with Madden franchise like Seahawks and then eventually Vikings, maybe Blast in the Past videos, experiments, face of the franchise, whatever, a bunch of stuff, and that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video, but until next video, see ya!